Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about the 1961 Lincoln Memorial Cent, a coin that's over 60 years old and still turning up in pocket change and collections. While most 1961 pennies are only worth 1 cent, some rare varieties, mint errors, and high-grade examples can actually be worth big money. In this video, I'll show you what to look for and how much your 1961 penny could really be worth. Let's get started. The 1961 Lincoln Cent belongs to the Lincoln Memorial series of pennies, which ran from 1959 all the way to 2008. The obverse, or front of the coin, features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. To celebrate the centennial of Lincoln's birth, this portrait has remained iconic for over a century. On the reverse, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design created by Frank Casparo, which debuted in 1959 for Lincoln's 150th birthday. One interesting feature of this reverse design is that if you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting in the center of the memorial, just as it appears in real life. This was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a person inside a building. Now, when it comes to minting, the 1961 penny was struck at two locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, while the Denver coins are marked with a small d beneath the date. In total, the U.S. Mint produced an absolutely massive number of these coins, over 2.9 billion at Philadelphia and about 1.75 billion at Denver. That's more than 4.6 billion pennies in circulation from just 1 year, which is why many 1961 cents are still relatively common today. Because of this high mintage, most circulated examples we'll find in change are only worth their face value, 1 cent, or perhaps a few cents to collectors if in decent condition. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1961 pennies are created equal. While the average worn coin may not be worth much, uncirculated examples, proof coins, and those with errors or unusual features can be worth considerably more. Collectors often look for coins in mint state condition, meaning they haven't been used in circulation and still retain their original luster. A regular 1961 penny in brilliant, uncirculated condition can fetch between 25 cents and a couple of dollars depending on how perfect it is. Meanwhile, high-grade examples graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, especially those scoring MS66 or higher, can command $20, $50, or even. And let's not forget about proof coins. In 1961, the Philadelphia Mint also produced proof sets, which included a special proof version of the penny. Proof coins are struck using polished dies and plankets, resulting in sharp details and a mirror-like finish. These were not meant for circulation but rather sold directly to collectors. A 1961 proof Lincoln Cent isn't particularly rare. Over 3 million proof sets were made that year, but they remain popular with collectors depending on the grade and whether they exhibit a cameo or deep cameo effect. Proof pennies from 1961 can range from just a couple of dollars up to $50 or more for pristine examples. Of course, no discussion about coins would be complete without talking about mint errors and varieties. Some of the most valuable 1961 cents come from mistakes during the minting process collectors are especially interested in. A famous example is the 1961 double die obverse, which shows noticeable doubling on the date and lettering. There are also repunched mint mark varieties, particularly with the Denver issues, where the D was stamped more than once in slightly different positions. Depending on rarity and condition, these errors and varieties can turn a common penny into one worth hundreds of dollars. Now let's talk about the broader historical context of the 1961 cent. The early 1960s were a pivotal time in American history. John F. Kennedy was president, the space race was heating up, and the civil rights movement was gaining momentum. The Lincoln Memorial reverse design on the cent symbolized national unity and Lincoln's legacy at a time when America was undergoing dramatic social and political change. For many collectors, the 1961 penny isn't just a piece of copper, it's a tangible reminder of an important era in U.S. history. Speaking of copper, another important detail is the coin's composition. The 1961 penny is made of 95% copper and 5 zinc, the traditional bronze alloy used for cents until 1982. Because copper prices have risen significantly over time, the metal content alone in a 1961 penny is worth more than 1 cent. In fact, each of these coins contains about 3 grams of copper and its melt value can be 2 or 3 cents depending on market prices. However, it's important to note that melting down US pennies for their metal is illegal, so their real value to you is as collectible coins, not raw copper. So what's the bottom line? If you've got a 1961 penny in average circulated condition, it's generally only worth face value to most people. But if you find a high-grade, uncirculated example, a proof coin, or better yet one with a recognized error or variety, then you could be looking at a coin worth anywhere from a few dollars to several $100s. The key is always condition and rarity. I recommend that if you come across a shiny 1961 penny or one that looks unusual, consider getting it checked by a reputable grading service. Even the smallest detail, like a double date or an oddly stamped mint mark, can make a big difference in value. Before we wrap up, let me say this: collecting coins like the 1961 Lincoln cent is not just about money, it's about history, art, and discovery. Each coin tells a story, from its design and production to the hands it has passed through over decades. Whether you're a beginner looking at your change for the first time or a seasoned collector hunting for rare varieties, the 1961 penny offers something for everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, and drop a comment below letting me know if you've ever found a 1961 penny in your collection. Who knows, you might be holding on to a tiny piece of history worth far more than just 1 cent.